Hello folks, welcome to another Bitcoin market analysis by Inspocrypto. We will talk about what will happen in the next 24 hours related to Bitcoin, crypto in general. Some of you were just missing the wall or exchange walls in yesterday's analysis. I just did it because I just noticed that the market wasn't really active. Yesterday was holiday in the US. And I also didn't notice any big changes related to exchange walls. So that's why I just skipped this topic. But today, of course, it will be included once again. Well, I'm not going to make any big statement today to initiate this analysis. Just, nothing have changed. In my opinion, nothing have changed. What they did was accelerated. We will see how far they will bring it. But in my opinion, it's just a matter of time. SPY, SPX doing exactly unchanged, absolutely unchanged. We have a gamma wall between 400 and 380. In my opinion, it's a matter of time that we will go down to 395, have a dead cat bounce, and then go straight to 380. Or at least almost straight to 380. And then we need to see how bulls will react related to Bitcoin. If they want to hold brave, or they will start to dump or to unload their bags. At the same time, we will see that today miners again have sent almost 3,000 Bitcoins to centralized exchanges. So with yesterday almost 8,000 in 2 days. And you remember in the past, in 2022, every time when that happened, we always said, that's the local top, afterwards down. I guess it's going to happen again. I didn't expect it such a really crazy pump like they did. It was, we have seen that just before. I have mentioned that a few days ago in my analysis. We have seen that they push up very hard to liquidate all the shorts they can, because those guys otherwise will take profit as soon as the price goes down. And that's something that at least it's not in interest of centralized exchanges. I'm not saying it's Binance. I'm not saying it's Bitfinex. I'm just saying it's all of them. They don't have any interest. They have a 0 fee promo since mid of last year. They are not making any money with spot. Spot activity is extremely low. So we can say, that's a drop in the ocean. Maybe, but money is money. In the bear market, you need every single cent. So it's once again just a theory, because we can't prove that. We can't prove that centralized exchanges pushed that hard. We just know that it seems bears were very happy about that, because they triggered, at least on Binance, almost every single big sell order we had above. And you remember how many times I said, we have a lot of protections to the upside, but it's just protections, because I can't imagine we will push up that hard. I was wrong. They pushed it that hard. And it seems, taking into account what they did, it looks like it was an exit pump. But we will see it. Crystal ball, inspo, So let us go forward. Let us check. We see here on the right side the 1 day time frame of Binance BTC USDT pair, and we have on the left side the 1 hour time frame of BTC USDT on Binance, and you can see that the volume is declining. In my opinion, they are distributing at the moment. It's something we will check afterwards, but we also know that on Binance they were distributing all the time. While the price was going up, at least market traders were unloading. And we know that market traders usually are also algorithm using the opportunity to sell and to attract at the same time retailers to jump in. Anyway, let us start and check what's going to happen. I have changed the position of my microphone. I think it's not that bad, but very useful for me. So I hope that fits to you as well. So let us go forward. What we can see here. Let me see. Can you hear me good enough? I think that's better. So we start with the weights ratio 30 days moving average, something that really, as yesterday mentioned, it's surprising me. Usually it doesn't hold such a high level. It starts to decline afterwards, indicating the preparation is done. But it's not doing it. Instead, it maintains very high. And that let me struggle a little bit, also indicating these guys are, in my opinion, distributing. Something is in the air. I mean, we have a lot of red flags in crypto, not only in the economy. I mean, we also there we have some red flags, but related to crypto, we still have, we have Genesis still on the table. Nobody is talking about Silvergate, 1 billion in loss. I mean, that's incredible after they received 4 billions. And well, I mean, it's Genesis and all the companies behind of Genesis, also the mother firm or the mother company, and that's institutional infrastructure. So what does that mean? Well, institutionals use different infrastructures we use. They are not mainly using Binance, Bitget, Bitfinex, or whatever. So they use OTCs like Genesis, for example. And when they see that such infrastructure is looking weak, they are not going to involve their capital because it's not time to be risky. That's what I said just related to equity firms, private equity and hedge funds. Those guys who in the past were gambling with money. So investing in companies or even in risky business because the money was always there and very cheap. And now with the monetary policy we initiated last year, everything changed. And even more, the whole thing will change. Meaning they will reduce. I mean, many of you should know the reward risk ratio, So every time when you are going to make a trade, you should analyze your reward risk ratio. If you are not doing it, that's a problem. You always should know how big your risk is and how big your reward can be. And usually the reward has to be much more higher than your risk. Otherwise, it's a very risky deal and the opportunity to make a gain with this trade is minimum. It should be the opposite the case. So, and the same is happening here as well. Crypto is a risky asset, a risky market, as we know. I mean, we just need to change to 1 day or maybe 1 week time frame and check the chart what they did, So they did a big gain. Now the whole rules are changing, not because they want it, just because the Federal Reserves want it. And they try to avoid it, but they need to adapt. They really need to adapt, otherwise it's not going to work. They can't force the Fed to change their monetary policy. That's not going to happen. Absolutely not. So, yeah, let us go forward. I think it's really clear that the big capital will avoid to make risky trades, and part of it's also crypto. Not saying it's over, not saying Bitcoin is going to zero, crypto will disappear or something. Absolutely not. Otherwise, I wouldn't spend not even the hour I'm going to spend here related to these analysis. I'm a believer. I'm still absolutely convinced that crypto is the future, and crypto is part of a political agenda. And they need crypto. They don't need to invent something similar to crypto. We have crypto already, and they know the use case of crypto. And that's why also the World Economic Forum is investing big in different centralized exchanges. I'm not going to tell you what centralized exchanges, just make your homework. If you are really interested, just make some research. So, let us go forward. Wealth ratio yesterday declined to 44. That's where I would say, okay, it declined, but it's still too high for a local bottom. That's something we need to see, because we have here a clear tendency, and the tendency is, in my opinion, absolutely clear what's happening here, indicating that we should bounce from here. It should go even more up afterwards, and that's really crazy. So I can imagine we'll go hitting 55, and that was actually what we had just in July. So we need to see, but for me this tendency is absolutely confirmed. Let us go forward and take a look to the wealth ratio 30 hours moving average, because here we can see nothing have changed. They are still attracting bulls to push up the price, so they can afterwards just distribute. So that's where I would say we need to be careful, because that's what they are doing all the time. After they attracted the price to go up, afterwards they started to distribute really big. However, even the wealth ratio 30 hours moving average went up, hitting 85, failed, went down, hitting 80, and it's now something like waiting for what? I don't know, but it seems they are waiting for something that's going to trigger a price move. Yeah, we can see stablecoin reserves on centralized exchanges still not looking very good. We are still in a lower range, lower than, for example, in October. After October, we went up in November to absorb as much as we can, it seems. Then it went down, then it peaked here, for example, that was end of November, where the price started to decline to absorb, so just to accumulate here and to buy with stable coins. And afterwards they reduce it, and afterwards we pushed up very hard. So however, and I'm very clear in my statements always, I'm not the best telling you where's the bottom. I'm not the best telling you where's the top. Unfortunately, I'm not the best, because I guess it's part because I'm not the best in TA. I like numbers, mathematics, and so on and so forth. So give me numbers, give me a lot of data to analyze. I can do it. And that's why I like and love blockchain analysis. But I can tell you, hey, is that done? Are we done here? So, or can we go to 22K? It's possible. Something I doubt we can do it, but it can happen. So let us go forward and let us see. So at the moment it declined to 70, and usually that means they want to let the price go up so they can distribute even more, and that's what they are doing at the moment. Looks absolutely very well controlled. However, also here we have a trend line, and we can check the trend line. I mean, if we check that here, also the wealth ratio 30 hours moving average is indicating it's pushing up. Not that big, but big enough to have a constant sell pressure. if we take a look here, you can see that the sell pressure was declining a little bit here, and now it's, after it bounced here, it's just, it wants to go up. And that's something we need just more patience, in my opinion. I really can't imagine that we will go up even more, hitting 25, for example. Some people are saying 28K. I personally, I'm not a fan of it. So let us go forward. So let us see what's happening to the flow activity. If we check here, we can see, let us start first with Bitcoin and what's happening here. So once again, it seems that the preparation is done. So they sent a lot of Bitcoins while the price was lifting up. And right now, yeah, it declined a lot. The whole flow activity volume related to Bitcoin declined a lot. And at the moment, I mean, we are still indicating we are going up. As soon as we have here a valid breakout to the downside, I would be extremely careful, because that could be one that's going to be very fast and quick to push to the downside. So in my opinion, they are very well prepared. We will check the centralized data reserves or centralized exchanges related to Bitcoins. It's not huge. We are not talking about 30, 40, 50,000. We have, I have checked that this morning. It was almost 17K, but that's something we need to check just in the next chapter. Well, no, it's future, but later on. We will check that later on. So related to stablecoins, well, we are at the moment, we don't have any big net flow. That's the net flow of stablecoins. Let me make this here, and we can see it's almost neutral. So it's, yeah, almost neutral. So they are once again just reacting, just really reacting, and that's all the time happening. That's what we can see first. First they started to sell, afterwards they started to buy, and that's what we can see if you check here, for example, the chart. Then they started to sell once again, afterwards they started to buy, afterwards they sold, buy, and so on and so forth. Sold, buy, and then nothing more is happening. Just everything cooled down right now, indicating maybe that's the local top, but we will continue. We are not receiving any huge amount of stablecoins. They are just really reacting. And you can imagine when they are using algorithm, it's something quick and automatically. So that explains also, I guess, their reaction. So let us go forward. So first of all, we can start here and take a look with the first indicator here. That's the funding rate. The funding rate pushed up, declined, pushed up, and declined. So it's indicating they are demanding more shorts at the moment, more than longs. We can see that also here. Oh, no. Sorry. It's neutral. Sorry. I didn't see that. So, okay. So nothing new here. We need to zoom out anyway. Open interest declined because they liquidated once again some shorts and some longs, while the leverage ratio also declined, indicating they liquidated, and some people also closed their positions. At the same time, if we check, for example, what's happening here, we can see that they are taking profit, 305 millions last hour. So in the last hour. While we have here, for example, just 57 million. So nothing big in stablecoins coming into derivative exchanges at the moment, and that explains why, for example, let us just zoom out now. Now it makes everything, it's more clear. So it declined, the funding rate declined, but it's still in an upward trend. So even short term indicating they are demanding more shorts, it's still demanding more longs. Also very interesting what they are doing. And as mentioned, so open interest leverage ratio declined very hard. Leverage ratio mainly indicating they liquidated some high leverage positions. And the stablecoin reserves on derivative exchanges. So we can see here, for example, that was in November, and we are here and it's declining hard, indicating they are sucking capital from derivative exchanges at the moment, taking more profit. If we check, for example, Bitcoins related to derivative exchanges, the biggest thing we can see here today was 1,280 Bitcoins, while only came into these derivative exchanges, while only 830 Bitcoins outflows. The biggest here was 1,469 Bitcoins outflows few hours ago, so 3 hours ago. Nothing big happened, no big moves at the moment, indicating something big is going to happen. But so no 4 billion like we have seen just in the past, and we need to see. If we take a look, we can see yesterday, for example, they liquidated 1,280 Bitcoins while on shorts, and liquidated 826 Bitcoins and longs, while the price was more positive than negative, so more bullish than bearish, indicating that longs are so high leveraged at the moment. Just the day before, that was today, that was Sunday, and Sunday was really tiny, so nothing we should talk about because it wasn't really big. However, if we take a look, open interest here is lifting up, leverage ratio instead is declining, even it's recovering, but the funding rate maintains, even it's declining, but the tendency is positive, indicating they are still demanding more longs at the moment. Short term demanding more shorts instead, as mentioned. So let us go to Binance and check what's happening there. So, and if we check this here, we can see that on Binance nothing have changed. So it looks like a little bit the market is dead, and then a little bit of reaction indicating, the patient is still alive, but nothing big happening. So the funding rate here not indicating anything big. The only thing is really open interest. It declined. It declined after we reached the first top of what was it, 13th or something. They liquidated a lot, so open interest declined, but it's recovering back. Also, the leverage ratio declined very hard, indicating they also on Binance liquidated a lot of high leverage positions. So then let us check here what's happening, and we can see, for example, here that we have 970 millions and longs still on Binance, it seems, and almost 1.2 billions and shorts, indicating we have 54 to 55. That's the long short ratio, where I would say, well, taking into account that we did such a big pump, yeah, that's absolutely fine. However, I wouldn't use high leverage, because I mean, just to have a perfect entry is almost impossible. And usually when people are starting to short, they will make another leg to the upside. So maybe let the price go down a little bit, then at 20,000, for example, push up very hard once again, just to liquidate all of them and then finally let the price down. So I would be extremely careful using here a bigger leverage than 15, to be honest. But it's up to you. Some of you are kings finding the best entry sometimes. Followers sending me screenshots and look, I did 1000% with a leverage of 100. I mean, if you can do that, that's good. I mean, if you're using $10, I will do that just to make it for fun maybe as well. But if you're using a little bit more money for that, I wouldn't do that. However, shorts lifting up on Bitfinex, but 3 millions, why they still have all these longs. Some people are asking, hey, but that's bullish, isn't it? We don't know why they have that longs. If these longs are, for example, just a hedge because they are selling spot, it would make sense. It's not the first time that Bitfinex is doing that. We remember just, I don't know, last year, that was in June, July, August, September. I really don't remember. They had almost 3 billion. And they reduced then almost their position by 1 billion. And now they lifted up by almost 300 million in the last few weeks. So we need to see. Let us go forward and check the Kingfisher. What is doing that? Well, that's a little bit some hours ago, where I could see that high leverage positions are located here between 21,400 and 21,500. Let us check if something changed. Ooh, oh my God. Okay, we will make another leg to the upside, it seems, because everything between 21,250 and 21,600 are extremely high leveraged on shorts. That's for me absolutely nonsense what they are doing. Really absolutely nonsense. At the same time, we have high leverage longs, but I mean, even we have 2.5 million liquidation clusters. So this bar is the biggest with 2.3 million at 21,250. And we are just $100 away from it. So, and on the long side, the biggest one would be here. For example, we have not even 1 million. Yeah, not even 1 million. It's 0.76 millions. No, it doesn't make sense. The bar is bigger. No, it's right. It's right. So at 21K. So also nothing to see here, to be honest. All leveraged. Let us check there. And ooh, what is that? It's 17K. Wow, that's huge. I mean, we are talking about 350 million liquidation cluster, and we have here 340 millions. My God, what the peanuts is that here? Okay, that should attract somebody to liquidate them, I guess. We are talking about 17K, and that will take. So it's almost impossible to do it, because we need to crash the market by $4,000 very quick, so they don't have the time to close their longs. However, on the other side, you see, we have much more longs position, and that's something what I said. Just they are accumulating longs now to liquidate them, in my opinion. Next, while we don't have anything big anymore on the long side. I mean, not big. It's not true. We still have here 170 millions, for example, but we have to go almost to 26K from here. In my opinion, it's nothing is impossible, as we have seen with this push up, but it would make more sense to go down because of many things. Extremely high gags, we have, well, let us talk about some indicators I usually don't use, but RSI is extremely high, and it's it's the market has reached an extreme, and usually it should retrace, and retrace doesn't mean just $200. So yeah, that's it from here. Let us go forward. So let us see what's happening here. Well, let us start with the first thing. We can see the Binance. Oh, that's Gimini. Oh, sorry. No. We can see Binance BTC USDT CBD spot CBD indicating, well, what should I say? Yeah, we had little deviations, like here, for example. You can see here the bigger volume. Also here, for example, bigger volume and then bigger volume to decline the market. So that's what it did. So, but at the same time, also indicating here someone on Binance algorithm are unloading. They are selling, 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 selling. I mean, we are talking about almost 6,000 Bitcoins in 3 days. Not that bad. The aggregated one looks completely different. So we pushed up, we pushed up, we pushed up, and in sequences we push up, we distribute, we push up, we distribute, we push up, and now distribute it a little bit. What's going to happen next? Nobody knows. Interesting here is the if we compare Bitcoin margin contracts, so futures where you use your own Bitcoins as collateral, versus stablecoin margin contracts. So those what I'm using futures with USDC usually, and both here are looking very similar. While this year changed a lot because the coin margin futures are declining, indicating they are closing or even shorting. Also very interesting. So, but we can see that Binance is distributing all the time, really all the time. I mean, if we check here, that was December 18th, where we had a CBD minus 1,600, and today where we have a minus of 33,800. So indicating they distributed, market traders distributed all since mid of December almost 30,000 Bitcoins. That's a lot. If we take a look, that's the aggregated one. If we take a look, for example, from January, for example, that's where it bounced here with minus 31,000 to today with minus 9,000, indicating they pushed up the price market buying almost 20,000. So 50 because they absorbed the 30K from Binance. Not that bad. And however, as mentioned just before, coin margin contracts declining while stablecoin margin maintaining. So let us take a look. Bitfinex, of course, Bitfinex distributing, pushed up a little bit, but it seems they want to distribute. At least they reduced. They started to sell, but nothing big. You can see here green, 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 all algos and traders, whatever, even if it's really tiny amounts, but they are here pushing up more than selling, as you can see. Let us go to the next. Kraken doing exactly the same. Yeah, well, it's not surprising me because Bitfinex loves to use Kraken. If we take a look to Bybit, really interesting what they are doing, because they are distributing almost since we reached the level of almost 21K. Not big, absolutely not, because we are talking about almost 500 Bitcoins. Then Coinbase, of course, Coinbase not doing anything. They started to distribute, it seems 2 days ago, and pushed up a little bit. So also here, nothing to see. They didn't start, at least they didn't start to distribute related to market trades. Bitstamp, okay, it's Bitstamp. It's crazy because they are not distributing. It's just push, 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 and push. If we take a look here, we can see December 16th, we were here at almost zero, and now we are at 7,000. So they bought 7,000 more than they sold by market traders. And of course, last but not least, Gimini is distributing. They started to lift up. They started to distribute at 18K. That's something that was wondering me a little bit, but they distributed all the way up. It's something that institutionals like to do, but yeah, also that is something that is wondering me a little bit. So let us take a look. Retailers declining a little bit. Those declining also more. This guy's here declined, nothing big. This guy's here pushing up, declined, but it's still, the tendency is much more positive. Market maker entities pushed up. I have checked them. It seems they bought some, nothing big. Some, I don't know if maybe 1,000, 2,000 or something. At least they received. I don't know if some miners are involved here, but once again, they received as well some entities. We can check because we have also here, for example, we can check what these entities are doing. So 1,000 to 1,000 to 10,000, it's the market maker entity, and you can see we are here talking only about the amount of wallets. And you can see that the wallets are lifting up. And usually you can say, oh, they are buying more. Well, depends. If we go to the next one, we can see it's declining hard. So those wallets related to the entity 10,000 to 100K, where I always said 80% of these wallets are involved or linked to centralized exchanges, but not everyone. You can see it's declining. The biggest also declined a lot. It seems we have, from 5 wallets reduced to 4. I don't know if that was an exchange like Bitfinex, because we just have their 4 wallets. I know that 2 of them are related to Binance. We have one where it's not really clear if it's Gimini. And then we have one that's Bitfinex, and we had a 5th one, and they reduced their balances. These guys are receiving more wallets. These guys are declining. So it seems that here 10 to 100 Bitcoins are buying more and shifting to these entities, and retailers, as you can see, we have here, for example, small retailers, 0 to 1 Bitcoin per wallet. It's declining a little bit. They reached a peak, for example, November 17th. Since then, it's declining. And these guys here, 1 to 10 Bitcoins, also here you can see that's declining. The question is if they sold something, I can imagine, at that price and shifted to these wallets here, or just bought more and shifted to these wallets here, while also here they are declining, just to make it clear. However, if we take a look, let us refresh here, and I will nothing. So we can see that the market maker sent just a few hours ago 50 Bitcoins to centralized exchanges. Wow, they will nuke it. And just this morning, another 660. And as you see, I mean, they reduced everything related to send more Bitcoins to OTC or centralized exchanges at the moment. So they are maintaining here. If we check, we can see here, for example, also very interesting, the Bitcoin reserves on centralized exchanges. And you can see that while the price, orange is the Bitcoin price, while the price went up, also the Bitcoin reserves on centralized exchanges went up. Then we reached our peak here. They started, it seems, to distribute. They sent more. They sent even much more, then distributed, sent more. This here is, it seems, related to the miners. We will check the miner chart just a few seconds. And right now distributing once again. However, if we check where they started, for example, here and when we are right now, so we have now 154,000 Bitcoins and we had 838,000 Bitcoins, indicating we still have almost 50, 14, 16, 16 to 17,000 Bitcoins more than just before, indicating they have still some ammo to distribute. So we can maintain here, or they will use it just to dump their price, something just to buy the next dip. Nobody knows. We will check. However, well, market activity declining more. Also nothing big happening here related to OTCs. And we can see here miners, what miners are doing. And miners here, they are still sending more Bitcoins to centralized exchanges, 3,400 at the moment. A few days ago, you remember that was here, that was 2 days ago, 3 days ago, almost 5,000 Bitcoins they sent to centralized exchanges, and now they are sending even more. So it seems they want to distribute at that level. And that's it. Let us go forward. So let us check what's happening here. Well, first of all, what Coinbase did is something we can see here. I mean, they triggered this sell order, they triggered now this sell order, and yes, we still have here, well, I'm not sure if that's a sell order. It seems they remove it, but we have a big one at 25k and we have another one at 23k. Sometimes it's just spoofing, but you know, it's really difficult to say that because I wasn't really just expecting such a really accelerated pump, but at the same time they are taking out a lot of liquidity to the downside. A lot. You can see that they are taking a lot. So doesn't mean it can go back, but at least they are reducing a lot of liquidity here. And yeah, we need to see if they want to push up to 25k. I have my doubts, but I had my doubts also to see the price at 2021, and hey, we did it just in 4 days. That's something, you know. So nothing to see here. Deribit here, waiting. Well, it's as mentioned. We will see a lot of orders everywhere. 27.5 to 30k. If we take a look, we can see a lot of longs waiting to the downside. They are really ready just to trigger all this. If it's not spoofing, something I don't know, but they stop to protect, for example, the levels below of 14k, as we can see. And instead, if we make, we can see where everything they are fighting right now here, longs, shorts. That's what we can see here. Let us go forward. Bitstamp, for example, we can take a look here to Bitstamp. Bitstamp also reducing since yesterday. Since yesterday, reducing a lot of liquidity to the downside. Now the interpretation is very hard, because that can mean they are ready to push down very hard, or they say we will not see these levels anymore and we will not come very close to these levels anymore, so we don't need to lock our liquidity there. However, at 19.5 we would have, for example, the first limitation, and to the upside 25k once again. So Coinbase 25k, Bitstamp 25k, maybe it's 25k. I really don't know, but once again, I can't imagine that, because also that's a very, very new wall here, not on Coinbase but on Bitstamp, so I don't think. So what is happening here related to Binance, for example? On Binance, it looks like we are reaching the top, because they are limiting the way up here at 22,000, for example. Not huge. We are not talking about 3, 4, 5,000 Bitcoins limitations, but enough, in my opinion. However, also here they are reducing liquidity at least until 13th. Everything else maintains intact, and even here at 15k the wall is also intact. They didn't reduce anything there. Also here 20k protecting it, and as mentioned 22k. So it's possible another and last leg up to 22k before we go finally down. It's possible. Not saying it's going to happen, but it's possible related to the data we can see here. So, sorry, I need to adjust here something on my microphone, because I'm not sure if you can hear me perfectly, but I think, because the bar here, the audio bar looks, I don't know why. No, I think that's fine. Okay. So, Bitfinex. What is Bitfinex doing? I guess we need a little bit above of 100 Bitcoin should be allowed. On Bitfinex, we can see that everything until 29k is still attractive for them. Otherwise, they are limiting at 19k, at 18k, at 17.3, and 15.8. And we still have here their liquidity between 14.8 and 15.4. OKEX spot. Nothing on OKEX spot, to be honest. Absolutely nothing. Kraken. Also here we need to push up the volume a little bit to see something. So limitation at 22k like Binance. Interesting. Another one at 18.6. You can see also here 20,000. And let us see here. Yeah, and that's it. That's really it. So the last one, it's 18.6. They don't have anything else. Bybit. What is happening on Bybit? Nothing is happening here. Then BitMEX. What is BitMEX doing? If we check BitMEX, they removed the wall at 27k. Instead, they are at 28k right now. On the other side, they are limiting, for example, at 15.6. They are limiting here at 14. And that's it. That's also it. Binance futures. Wow. Well, in such case, we need to go and to check what they are doing here. And just one wall looks solid. It's at 23,500. And you can see they want to long at 20,200, they want to long at 20,000, they want to long at 19.7, 19.5, they want to long at 14.6, and so on and so forth. but yeah, they want to short at 22.5. At least all these here are new 3 hours ago. At the moment, they want to short here a lot. Let us take a look. And we still have more longs than shorts. Yeah, not big, but 1,000 Bitcoins more longs than shorts. Orders between 20,500 and 22K. Bitfinex derivatives. 1 too long at 18.5 and 13.8. 13.8, interesting. 13.8, so almost 14K. Something we should have in mind. Nothing to see here. OKEX futures. OKEX futures limiting at 20,719. Between 19.5 and 19.3, and wants to short at 25. So 25, 25, 25. Could be spoofing. That's the big question, if that's spoofing or if that's a valid wall. That's why we are using different data. Interesting what OKEX swap is doing, because after they triggered the 20K sell order, you remember where I said 20K, why they are waiting there at 20K doesn't make sense. 20K, well, and now they are waiting here at 17K with 7,600 Bitcoins to buy. That's big, isn't it? Wow, that's really a big one. That's really a big one. Okay, that's crazy. Sorry, we have a puppy here and we have a new family member, and sometimes it's escaping. Wants to go to daddy, but daddy is working right now. So OKEX swap, that's really a big thing here. OKEX swap at 17K, and a huge one as well. Also very interesting after they triggered the sell order, and this one wasn't that big. I mean, if we remember, we had here 2,000. And now we are talking about 7,000. That's great. That's really huge. So Bybit, what is Bybit doing? Bybit is not doing anything at the moment. No. That's the USDT pair, BTC USDT, but not indicating anything. So we are done here. Let us go to the next one.